Imagine living in a time without hospitals, without antibiotics, without vaccines, or any kind of modern medical technology. A time when a simple infection could be deadly, a flu might turn into a tragedy, and even a small wound could lead to death. And yet, there was a people who faced these harsh conditions head-on, surviving brutal winters, bloody battles, and dangerous sea voyages. They were the Vikings. This impressive resilience raises a big question. How did they manage to stay healthy and strong in such an unforgiving world, without what we now call modern medicine? Without chemical drugs, without complex surgeries, without any of the life-saving advancements we rely on today. The Vikings maintained their vitality and recovered their strength in the midst of a wild and hostile nature. It wasn't luck, nor some unknown miracle. It was the result of a smart combination of habits, practices, and adaptations that formed a true natural health system. They understood the power of food, recognized the importance of hygiene, even when most people didn't care, trusted in herbs and natural remedies, and lived a lifestyle that strengthened both body and mind. In this video, we're going to dive into those Viking secrets. We'll explore how their nourishing diet fueled their endurance, how their routines and customs helped prevent disease, which natural remedies healed wounds and common ailments, and even how constant exposure to rough and challenging environments helped to toughen their immune systems. This isn't just a story about survival. It's a story about ancestral wisdom, an invitation to look into the past and discover what we can learn from these ancient warriors and farmers who, even without the medicine we have today, lived with health and strength. Now, to understand where that strength came from, we have to start with what went on their plates, because in the end, health begins with food. When we think about health, the first image that often comes to mind is medicine or medical treatment. But for the Vikings, the foundation of their strength and resilience lay in something much simpler and more natural: food. What they put on their plates came from a deep understanding of the land, the waters, and the changing seasons. They lived in regions where the climate could be harsh, the soil wasn't always fertile, and the long winter nights made farming a challenge. Even so, the Viking diet was rich and functional, focused on fresh, local foods that provided the nutrients needed to endure a tough daily life. Wild game was one of the stars of their diet. Elk, deer, wild boar, and birds offered high-quality protein, essential for building and repairing muscle. In addition, fish, especially salmon, herring, and cod, was consumed in large quantities, both fresh and preserved. Fish provided omega-3s and other vital nutrients for the brain and heart. Vegetables, though less varied than today, also played a role in their meals. Cabbage, turnips, white carrots, and beets were grown in their gardens. These were important sources of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Grains like oats and barley were used to make rustic breads, porridges, and homemade beer, offering long-lasting energy. Food preservation was a Viking art, crucial for surviving the cold months. Salting and smoking ensured that meat and fish could be stored for long periods without spoiling. Fermentation was also common, especially for baking and brewing, and it supported digestion and gut health. Honey, gathered from natural hives, was used as a sweetener and also had antibacterial properties, even if they didn't understand the science behind it. Wild berries like blackberries and raspberries provided antioxidants and helped strengthen the immune system. All of this formed a balanced diet, rich in essential nutrients, a true source of health and vitality. They ate real food in its most natural form and followed the rhythm of nature when harvesting what they could. This eating pattern not only kept their bodies strong, but also helped prevent disease. With no processed or industrialized foods, their bodies received exactly what they needed to function well: clean, powerful fuel for a life full of challenges. And it wasn't just about what they ate, but also how they cared for their bodies and their environment that made all the difference. Because for the Vikings, preventing illness was far better than trying to cure it. When we think of Vikings, it's common to picture bearded, dirty warriors living in chaotic villages with little concern for cleanliness. But the reality was quite different. The Vikings understood, long before modern medicine, that hygiene was one of the first lines of defense against disease. They bathed regularly, weekly, according to historical records, which was uncommon in medieval Europe. They used the cold waters of rivers and lakes to wash their bodies, and bathing was also a moment of personal and social care. They used wooden combs to keep their hair and beards clean and untangled, and tweezers to remove dirt and parasites. Without industrialized soap, the Vikings created their own natural cleaning products by mixing animal fat with wood ash, a rudimentary but effective form of soap. This helped keep their skin healthy and free from harmful bacteria. Their dental care was also surprisingly advanced for the time. Archaeological findings show that Vikings practiced oral hygiene, using small tools to remove food debris. Taking care of their teeth was crucial, since dental problems could lead to serious infections. Beyond personal hygiene, they kept their homes and surroundings clean, avoiding the buildup of waste near living areas. This helped prevent the spread of disease carrying insects and rodents. Wounds and injuries were treated with great care because they knew that even a small cut could become deadly if left untreated. Cleaning wounds with fresh water, applying antibacterial herbs, and resting were common practices to speed up healing. This constant attention to cleanliness and prevention wasn't just about vanity or habit. It was a smart survival strategy in an environment full of invisible threats. By focusing on these daily details, the Vikings were able to reduce the impact of many common illnesses, staying active and ready to face life's challenges. And when illness or injury did strike, the wisdom of healers and the use of medicinal plants took over the treatment. In a world without hospitals, doctors, or manufactured medicine, the ones who took care of the sick and injured were the Volvas, the healers and wise women of Viking culture. These figures were far more than simple doctors. They were guardians of ancestral knowledge, of medicinal plants, and of rituals that connected body and spirit. Viking medicine was deeply rooted in a profound understanding of nature. The Volvas knew every plant, root, and herb that grew in the forests and fields, understanding their healing properties and how to use them safely. Some of the most commonly used were garlic, known for its antibacterial power, nettle, rich in vitamins, yarrow, used to stop bleeding and reduce inflammation, and chamomile, a soothing remedy for pain and fever. These herbs were prepared in various ways: infusions to drink, poultices to apply directly on wounds, and ointments to speed up healing. Some plants were even burned in rituals to cleanse negative energies and strengthen the healing process, showing that Viking medicine blended practical science with belief and spirituality. In addition to herbs, the Volvas also used salt and honey, both known to have antibacterial properties, to protect wounds and prevent infections. Honey, in particular, was a precious resource used to treat cuts and skin conditions. This knowledge was passed down from generation to generation, often orally, and these healers were respected and essential to the survival of the community. They knew when a person needed rest, when a tea could ease symptoms, and how to combine herbs into powerful remedies, even without understanding the chemistry behind it. Their role wasn't limited to the physical body. They also provided emotional support, helping to maintain the mental balance of the sick, which for the Vikings was a vital part of the healing process. This blend of natural wisdom and human care created a rudimentary but effective medical system, capable of handling many of the everyday ailments of Viking life. But staying healthy went beyond herbs and remedies. The Vikings were always on the move, and that constant movement made all the difference. For the Vikings, the body wasn't just a shell. It was an essential tool for survival and prosperity. In a time without machines, motorized transport, or technological devices, movement was constant and natural. Not something separate from life, but a fundamental part of it. From sunrise to sunset, Vikings rode their ships on sea expeditions, hunted through dense forests, tilled the land to grow food, and of course, trained for battle. This active lifestyle, filled with varied physical effort, created strong bodies with well-developed muscles, good coordination, and high endurance. Hunting, for example, demanded strength, agility, and patience. Tracking and bringing down an elk or a wild boar wasn't easy. It required alertness, stealth, and quick reflexes. Farming also involved long hours of planting, harvesting, and maintaining the land, which further strengthened the body. Combat and warrior training, with swords, spears, and shields, build up the kind of stamina and fitness we now call total body conditioning. The Viking body was shaped by daily demands, with no need for gyms or special equipment. This active way of life didn't just build muscle and bone. It also supported the cardiovascular and respiratory systems, key elements for maintaining good health. Daily physical effort was a powerful ally against disease and played a role in recovering from injuries. In addition, constant exposure to the outdoors, whether in the cold, rain, or sun, helped strengthen their immune systems, adapting their bodies to environmental challenges and reducing their vulnerability to infections. It's important to note that Vikings didn't see this movement as exercise. It was simply life. Physical effort was woven into daily tasks and was necessary for securing food, shelter, and protection. This combination of a nourishing diet, attention to hygiene, natural medicine, and an active lifestyle helped the Vikings stay healthy even in the face of extreme conditions. But beyond physical strength, there was also a natural resilience, shaped by constant exposure to a rugged and demanding environment. In addition to a healthy diet and an active lifestyle, it's believed that the Vikings developed greater resistance to some common illnesses of the time, thanks to their constant exposure to rugged environments and the natural selection that shaped their world. Living in the wild meant direct contact with a wide variety of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, and other agents that, while often harmful, could also stimulate and strengthen the immune system. This daily interaction with the environment helped their bodies adapt and build more effective defenses. Moreover, long voyages in cramped boats, frequent battles, and life in small, isolated communities imposed a harsh form of natural selection. Those who were stronger and had better immune responses had a greater chance of surviving and passing on their genes, while the more fragile faced higher risks. The Viking immune system, therefore, was shaped by this constant exchange between body and environment, a kind of natural biological training. This rugged immunity acted like an invisible shield, reinforcing the healthy habits and preventative care they already practiced. It's important to note that even with such resilience, the Vikings were not immune to all diseases. Epidemics and infections still claimed many lives. But in a world without medicine, that natural immunity made a huge difference in daily survival. This adaptation also reflected how the Vikings viewed life, not as something fragile and separate from nature, but as something deeply connected to it. For them, the body had to exist in harmony with its surroundings, not apart from them. And this wisdom, even if never written down, is what lies behind the remarkable strength they showed in the face of such harsh conditions. Although we live in a world where modern medicine saves millions of lives every day, the story of the Vikings reminds us that health goes far beyond medicine and hospitals. They show us that, even without technological advancements, simple and natural habits can form the foundation for a long and vigorous life. A nourishing, earth-connected diet, attention to hygiene, respect for the body through constant movement, and the wisdom of medicinal plants. These are pillars that still make sense today, perhaps more than ever. Their exposure to the natural environment, which helps strengthen their immunity, also invites us to rethink our relationship with the world around us. In an age where sedentary lifestyles and closed indoor spaces are the norm, that lost connection might be one of the root causes of modern health problems. What the Vikings leave us is an invisible legacy: the importance of listening to the body, respecting the rhythms of nature, and understanding that health is a balance between body, mind, and environment. By looking to the past, we can reclaim simple practices that help prevent illness, maintain vitality, and improve our quality of life. A true lesson in survival that transcends centuries. And so, the Viking saga shows us that, even without modern medicine, it was possible to live with health and vitality, thanks to natural food, smart habits, a connection with the environment, and a body in constant motion. If this journey through time inspired you, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next stories. And let me know in the comments, which of these Viking strategies surprised you the most, or which one would you like to bring into your own life? See you next time.